Hi, this is Phil at Canyon Soundwave, and this is a short video about how speaker ports work. And maybe you've sized a speaker port in a design before, and you'll remember that it takes the sizing for a port takes into account the volume of the box and the diameter of the port and the length of the port, right? But you may not have ever thought about what's really going on physically behind the scenes to make that calculation relevant and what's physically going on. It's kind of interesting. I think you'll appreciate this. So if you've ever taken a driver, connected it in open air, and listened, you've probably noticed that there's no bass, right? It doesn't produce bass. It sounds very, very thin. And the reason for that is that when we have a driver and it's not mounted in a box, we're hearing the waves that are originating from the front of the cone and the waves that are uh, coming from the back of the cone simultaneously, right? When it's mounted in a box, these waves that are coming from the rear of the cone are inaudible, right? If it's in a sealed box. So what happens is that uh, sound waves that are coming from the front of the cone don't just move forward. They actually are omnidirectional. They move both forward and backward and every other direction because they're omnidirectional, so they'll propagate out in a sphere. It's the same thing with sound waves that are coming from the rear of the cone. They're also omnidirectional. So uh, there's this huge overlap of these waves, and they're completely 180 degrees out of phase. And so what you see is a front wave here depicted on the left, and I've depicted it as a sine wave, and it's going along its merry business. And a back wave that I've depicted as a 180-degree phase shift, which is a negative sine wave, and it's going about its business. And when you add them together graphically, you can see what's going on. The sine wave and the negative sine wave uh, are completely reflections of each other. And so mathematically, what the outcome is when you add a sine and a negative sign, you get zero. And graphically, you can see what that is. That's no wave at all. That's all of the amplitude is gone. Full cancellation. So designers eventually started to think about this back wave. So in a sealed box, you lose the back wave. That's great in the sense that at least you got the front wave and they're not canceling one another out. But what if you could take that wave that's originating from the back of the cone and you could capture it and put it in phase with the front wave? Is there any way that we can do that? If we can, then you can see that we can double the amplitude of our original wave. So that's what's shown here is this red wave is our front wave. And if we can add the back wave to it, we get this blue wave, which has double the amplitude. So a speaker port is a simple way to allow sound to escape from the cabinet. But it's pretty cool and elegant in a way. What it is it's a cylinder, and you may remember from your math class back in the day that we calculate the volume of a cylinder based on the area of the outlet of the port or the base of the cylinder. And then we multiply that area times the length or the height of the cylinder, right, to get the volume. So what we're really doing when we're calculating our port length for a particular tuning frequency is we're figuring out what column or volume of air that we need to put an air brake or a buffer in the cabinet such that it exactly slows the escape of those waves, the propagation of those waves out of the cabinet to put it perfectly in phase with the front wave at the tuning frequency that we're designing, the FB. So when we're at FB in a ported cabinet, the internal pressure of the cabinet hits what we call perfect resonance. It creates a hydraulic brake at that frequency that basically freezes the driver while the port wave, the wave from the back, perfectly offsets the front wave. This is really highly stabilizing to the driver because as you get to that very, very low frequency, it's not really moving, actually. Above the tuning frequency, let's say that we're way above it, like at the high, the high treble frequencies. Those short wavelengths cannot escape the box because of the inertia of that air column. They get trapped. So the speaker behaves at higher frequencies in the upper mids like a sealed box at those high frequencies, and it seals itself against leakage. Now, the further we get towards the FB tuning frequency, the more leakage that's going to occur. And that's both good and bad. It's bad in the sense that, well, maybe there's some frequencies we don't want to escape because ported designs can be muddy if they're not well designed. But they more likely help us in that as we are close to that FB frequency, we get some of the more extended bass, at the higher frequencies above FB to contribute also to the contour of the bass characteristics of our overall speaker. So leakage is actually beyond FB is preferred, right? We want that to be a rounded contribution rather than just a single contribution exactly at the FB frequency. And if our driver is producing sound waves below the tuning frequency of our cabinet, well, that's a problem because those very, very long wavelengths are not dampened by that port column of air. So they escape the cabinet. And if we're producing a really, really low bass below FB from that driver, it's not going to be damped. It's not going to have that air cushion. The back wave's not going to be fighting the front wave. So you'll get huge movement in the cone, and it's detrimental to the driver. So that's why port design always features an FB or a tuning frequency of the box that's substantially lower than the resonant frequency of the driver. It saves you from damaging that driver. Okay, so I thought you might find that interesting, and let me know if you have any questions or comments or insights into anything that I've discussed today, and I'll see you on the other side.